Hello, let me introduce you to My Big Campus. In this tutorial, you will edit the class or group that you've just created. So we've created a group or class called 7th grade English Gardener, Gardener being my name to help my students identify this group or class since they will have multiple classes within My Big Campus. And now I'm going to go over to Administrative Options and Edit. Now I recommend once teachers create a class that they immediately go into this edit feature so that they can control the class or group that they have just created. So I have my title. I could also add a course or class description or group description. And remember, you can use groups for your classes or also for athletic groups or class clubs. Now in the auto approve code area, this can be helpful when you're adding students. Now you can go up to the Members tab and add the names of all of your students prior to the beginning of school or during school. You can also create an auto code that your students can use to join your class. So if I want to create a code, I simply click Add Code, and it will put a code in here that students can use to join your class. You may also type in home page content, and you'll see above that one of your tabs is your home tab. Anything you type in here will appear on that home tab. So I'll put a very simple message. Welcome to class. But know that you could add pictures. There are lots of features that you could add to dress up this home tab if you choose. Now, can this group content only be viewed by members of this group? Yes. So I'm going to click next to this. Now, page creation. A page is one of the tabs within your course or your group. And do you want to be the only person who can create pages, or do you want to allow your students to create pages? Now, I typically don't use pages within My Big Campus. I use something called bundles instead, and we'll explore bundles on a separate tutorial. So I usually leave this as none. The resource area, again, the resources is one of your tabs within your group or class. And resources is the area where I share out files, photos, different things with my students. So do I want to be the only one who can add resources, or do I want to enable my students to add resources? And this would be a choice that you can make determined by how you want to run your class. I typically am the only one who add resources, but I could see the benefit of allowing your students to create folders and add resources to your class. It could be a very responsive style of leading your classroom. And then enabling your pages. So I always want my announcements so that I can communicate with my students daily, weekly, monthly. My class discussions. I typically disable chat. It's a feature where you can speak live with students through the chat feature. But because there's not a record of the communication that takes place during the chat, I like to have my communication take place during class discussions or announcements. So I disable chat. Again, I don't typically use pages. I always use my resources, my calendar features, and of course my members so I can add students. I could attach a file picture for this class specifically, and I don't have one that I'm going to add right now. And so I'm done making my changes. And I'm going to click Save. And now I've edited my class, and notice that the content that I added for my home page now appears when I click on my Home tab. Thank you for your time in editing your group or class within My Big Campus.